Hello and welcome back to Old Soul Podcast. My name is Bree, that's spelled B-R-E-I. Thanks so much. I just wanted to briefly note that I apologize for not uploading on my normal schedule for the first Friday of each month and the last Saturday of each month, but I've been going through a lot of personal issues and mental health issues, so I will be uploading occasionally. I just don't have any set time frame right now, and I do know that after today's commentary, we'll be doing Black film series commentary. I've gotten behind on those, so I will be uploading quite a bit of content dedicated to the Black film series. So that's what's coming up, and I just wanted to do that briefing before starting the video. Thanks. Okay, so today's commentary is going to be about the film School of Rock. It was released in 2003 and it was rated PG-13 with a runtime of 1 hour and 49 minutes. The director's name is Richard Linklater. I don't know if it's pronounced different, but that's what it looks like in terms of spelling. I decided to do this film because I was seeing quite a bit of content in regards to School of Rock. I don't know if I think Paramount's who owns the rights to this film, and I think I was just seeing previews of it and it just reminded me of my childhood because I remember watching this movie a lot back then, and I remember really loving it, and they had a lot of catchy music in it, and of course Jack Black is an incredible actor, and so I just had to go ahead and give this another watch. So basically this is a film about a character whose name is Dewey. He basically lives for rock music. He loves playing music. He loves singing. He has a very extroverted personality, and he is in this band that isn't very successful and isn't bringing in really any income, but he really loves being a part of this group, although his bandmates don't seem to like him very much, and pretty much right away we get a concert of Dewey and his band and like the conflicts going on there, and they end up kicking him out of the band after one of the performances that they have, amongst other issues that they've had in the past. And we see that Dewey lives with one of his close friends, Ned, who has I believe she's like his girlfriend, possibly future fiance. They seem like they're more than like just dating. They seem pretty serious, and she is very much like a stickler for rules and is constantly talking to Ned about what he should and shouldn't do, and he thinks that Dewey's a bad influence and they should just kick him out. And Dewey's not paying any rent because he can't, because he's not making any money, and Ned just seems to really care about him. They used to be in a band together. Not the current band in the present that Dewey's in or was in before he was kicked out, but in the past they were in a band together when they were younger, and they just have a good friendship. And so Ned's been letting Dewey stay with him. I believe they probably live in some sort of city. I don't know, it kind of gets blurred there. But anyway, Ned is a substitute teacher, and one day, for one reason or another, Ned isn't home when this phone call comes through, and this private, I believe, elementary school calls asking for Ned and seeing if he can fill in for this job. And Dewey decides this is an opportunity for him to make money or he's going to get kicked out, and he's overstayed his welcome pretty much, and he takes it, which is illegal, by the way. He doesn't have any credentials or anything like that, but he accepts the job. You can tell that he's not a good fit and he's pretending, but somehow he's able to get away with it, and he's hired, and they're under the impression that he is Ned, who is his friend and roommate, who actually does have the credentials for this job, but didn't even know that this job came through. Okay. And so we see immediately that Dewey is out of his element. These kids are expecting to be taught regular curriculum, obviously on their private school level, but their parents are paying like tons of money in tuition. These are pretty privileged children. Like they're privileged in terms of financial status. And, we pretty much see their personalities right away. I believe one of the younger kids named Summer, she seems to be sort of like the class president type, to take control, I wouldn't say teacher's pet, but the one that the teacher would probably depend on to assist them occasionally. And, you know, she kind of lays out what they're used to in school and this and that. And Dewey just kind of throws away all of those rules. And, you know, we see in the beginning how that's like a rocky start. He isn't really professional. The kids don't understand what's going on, why they're not learning. And then at some point, he has this epiphany when he sees them in their music class playing classical, mostly classical music. And he brings them back into class when they're done with that course. And he basically gives them this spiel about how there's like battle of the bands and other schools are involved and they should be involved and we should do this as a project, quote unquote. Technically it'll look good for your future school. You know, he's giving them this whole like scammy spiel because his band was supposed to do this battle of the bands before he was kicked out, and he took this job for money, and now he's still wanting to do the battle of bands. So now he's going to basically use these kids to do that to win money. But he eventually starts to build a connection with these kids, which, I mean, teachers do all the time when they're around these kids all the time. They probably know these children a little more than even their parents do. But, you know, they're around them all the time. Of course they know these children. And he starts to bond with them. He puts them in roles specific to bands. And I love that it goes outside of just the normal, you're the singer, you're the backup singer, you're the bassist, you're the guitarist. He talks about costuming and styling. He talks about lighting, graphics, security, detail, all those things. He teaches them how to play their instruments in a way that isn't just, you know, in classical, it's really about technique and focus and sound, obviously, because it's music, but he's giving them the aspect of personality through the music, which is something that they were lacking, probably because they weren't really taught that. And he's giving them another outlet to express themselves. You can see that the kids are a little hesitant at first, not very confident. You know, we have a moment where one of the students, she's a young girl, I can't remember her name, but, you know, she didn't want to tell him at first that she could sing, and then later she sings. He has some other students sing, and they're really, you know, trying, and they sound great. Summer, I remember Summer because she's played by Miranda Cosgrove, and I just grew up watching a lot of stuff with her, but the other children, they did a great job, by the way. I just don't remember their names specifically. But we watched that, and we see her talk about her body and how she's affected by fat phobia and how that's affected her confidence and so on and so forth. We have other characters who, you know, they decide, oh, I don't want to do that role. I want to style. I want to do this and this. And you can see that Dewey is very open-minded. Still jokes in there. There's still laughs. And it's just, you can see that he's great with kids, and you can see that he has the potential to be a great music teacher, which is basically me foreshadowing, which is what he becomes later. But obviously what he's doing now, pretending to be a teacher, all that stuff is illegal. But at some point, they get to the point where they're all pretty confident with their instruments. They're all set about this battle of the band. We see Dewey's trying to get a permission slip so that they can go to the auditions for the battle of the bands, and that's a struggle because they would have to leave school premises, which is a whole other safety concern for the kids. And he's trying to build bonds with the principal so that he can get his way, but it's not really working because she's a stickler for things, because she doesn't want to deal with the possibility of having to deal with the frustrating parents. And we also see Dewey surprising Ned and his girlfriend because he's able to make payments where he wasn't before, and they're just kind of confused about what he's doing because he's being kind of weird about it, because he's lying about things. And we also see Dewey just getting really excited, but also under the pretense of breaking the law. We see plenty of scenes where he's singing and the kids are singing. One of the students even writes his own song, and Dewey has suggestions. So I think it's a song, oh god, I can't think of any. I'll put some clips in here about some of the music that comes up if it's not copyrighted, but you should look into just like songs from School of Rock 2003 version, because the soundtrack is so good. I don't think any of these are covers. I think they might be originals, but if not, either way, the music's great. The kids' portrayal of being students and in this situation that they're in, really, really good acting, especially from a mainly child-only cast. I just hope that off-screen that they were comfortable and protected, and I'm sure with Jack Black being the one on set, he doesn't seem to have any past reputations that are negative, And, you know, he seems great and I really do love a lot of his films. But you just never really know, so I just hope for the sake of the kids that it was as good offset as it was on set. I'm just saying, I haven't heard anything otherwise, but you just never know. And ultimately, it looked great on screen. But eventually, they do get to the Battle of the Bands. There was a hiccup with the auditioning process, but eventually they were able to get through that, which you'll see why and what happens if you watch the film. And there's a whole thing where Dewey gets caught and the cops are called on him because he was basically pretending to be a teacher when he wasn't a teacher. Ned catches him. Ned ends up breaking up with his girlfriend or future fiance or whatever. And basically by the end, all is somewhat forgiven. I don't know if he has to take any real accountability. And I mean, he as in Dewey, for doing something that he shouldn't have done. You know, it's not okay to just be showing up and pretending to be a teacher, pretending to be anything, but especially a teacher when you're around people's kids. That's a huge safety concern. And I think that probably would have fell on the school majorly. Anyway, it's a movie, so, you know, they kind of rush through that a bit. And ultimately, they do make it to the Battle of the Bands. They perform. It is a great, entertaining performance. It's just as good now as it was when I was a kid. And I just think it's a great ending. We even see a final credits scene of them. I don't know if Jack Black is like freestyling or anything or improvising in the last section, but either way, the chemistry, the fun, the humor, the good music, it's just such a good time until the very last second. Like the beginning to the very end, it's so good. I mean, the credits start rolling and you're still like, oh no, give me more, you know? So I suggest everyone watches School of Rock. There were some things that I didn't talk about. I just wanted to do a quick briefing, summary, make my commentary here and there like I usually do. If you were someone who also really loved this film as a kid and you're curious about what you'll feel like about it in the future, currently, whatever, as an adult, you should totally watch it because I don't regret it at all. It was such a fun ride. Now I'm going to do my final section, which is my quote section of the day. Okay. Dewey, now what makes you mad more than anything in the world? Dewey, Billy? Billy responds, you. Dewey, Billy, we've already told me off. Let's move on. Billy, you're tacky and I hate you. Dewey, okay. You see me after class. Thank you, and have a great day. Bye.
We was making straight A's, but we were stuck